Let's take a look at this video called The Mystery of D'Angelo. Make sure you guys go show this YouTube creator some love. His name is DRMS? DRMS? He created this video 10 months ago. So make sure you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and give him a thumbs up here. You know what, let's go ahead and hit the subscribe button. So let's just make sure that we are showing him some love.
Those kinds of performers come along once every other generation.
D'Angelo! Because before you get into the business, you really don't know what it's about until you get into it. You know, once you rub heads with snakes and, you know, you get jaded. So I kind of got jaded. Wow. You know?
April 2006. 32-year-old Michael Eugene Archer, known to the world as D'Angelo, checks himself into the Crossroads Treatment Center in Antigua. After being away from the public eye for almost 5 years, D'Angelo was seemingly at rock bottom. His family wasn't talking to him, his label wanted him gone, and he didn't look like himself. As news spread of this, those in the industry and fans alike began to speculate. What happened? How does someone disappear from the industry with seemingly so much more to offer? This is his story. To understand D'Angelo, we'll have to go way back. Nah, a little farther. Yeah, let's go to church. The Pentecostal church. If you know anything about it, you know it's not just a Sunday ritual. Pentecostal church is something else. It's intense. It's alive. The energy is electric. You feel it in your bones. Michael Eugene Archer was brought up in the church and
all right, I'm not gonna lie, but when I used to go to church and I would see people getting the Holy Ghost, it used to scare the holy shit out of me because I was like, why are you jumping up during this moment of like, the music was always fun, right? The music was always like fun and positive, but then you start seeing people who almost look like they're having seizures. And as a child, this happened to me when I was a child and I was going to church. I would see people getting up, like it would scare the shit out of me. I was like, yo, check on them. Are they okay? Are you good? Are they having a seizure right now? Like, you guys need to make sure. Yeah, it was very, very interesting experience.
in Richmond, Virginia. The son of a minister, he was used to the kind of environment where music wasn't just heard, it was experienced. And for Michael, this was his foundation. That's why at 3 years old, he had taught himself how to play piano by ear. And that's also why as a child, he became his father's designated organist at church.
Who are some of the other artists that you like to listen to yourself?
Prince.
Oh, yeah.
Michael was 12 when he saw his father lay hands on a woman who had caught a demon. The year was 1986, and that same year, Prince released
Okay, when he said he saw his father lay hands on a woman, I was thinking something else completely. I was like, excuse me? You get your hands off of her! But I guess he was actually trying to help her release her demons.
The Cherry Moon, his follow-up to Purple Rain. And while the film was winning Worst Picture and Worst Actor at the Razzie Awards, Michael was discovering the rest of Prince's discography. He consumed his albums, reading the liner notes.
And that's a whole nother conspiracy theory right there when it comes to celebrities. Not one that I'll probably dive into for this upcoming video, maybe like for future videos, because the whole conspiracy theories with Prince it's a long one, especially since he was also kind of going down the same rabbit hole as Michael Jackson with fighting against the music groups who wanted to own the rights to his music because he didn't really want to give it up. But fun fact, his very last concert was here in Atlanta. It was right here in Atlanta. That was actually always one of my wishes, is that if we can come up with time travel, which I heard if time travel was possible, it would be more than likely possible to visit the future, especially in the sense that if you go outer space and it takes like 10 light years to get to a planet, then you get to that planet and then time moves differently there, and then you come back to Earth and then like 30 years have passed here because time works differently, like that's time traveling. But going to the past is not really like a possible thing. But then if you look at Einstein's theory that if it's possible to bend time and space, then it could be a possibility, but that has not yet to be proven. But if I could go back into time, I would love to attend a Prince concert.
He said about Prince, everything he did was the bomb, and he could do it all himself. I was one of those kids reading the album credits. I knew back then that I wanted to do that type of shit. His father, a minister, did not particularly like his son being drawn to the androgynous, seductive pop star, especially now that church was one of the only things that brought the two together. They didn't live in the same household, as Michael moved in with his mother at 9 years old after his parents split. And after a while, even that bond between them ended. The once strict...
His name wasn't D'Angelo? His name is Michael? What the? Is his middle name D'Angelo at least?
Archer patriarch left it up to his children to decide if they wanted to go to church or not, and Michael's attendance started to wane. But like most kids, he didn't have his priorities all the way together. When he was a teenager, he had his first run-in with the law. He said, "I got knocked off course for a minute. I got into a fight with a cop. Sitting in jail, I felt like I had come to the crossroads. I felt like God was talking to me." From that point, he knew he needed to focus on music. But something weird was going on with Michael. He kept having these dreams about Marvin Gaye. The first dream was in black and white, and at Hitsville, USA, Marvin looked like he just stepped off stage at the American Bandstand, and he wouldn't let go of Michael's hand.
When he died, I remember that whole day and everything that happened. I remember, us going over to my cousin's house. We just came from church, and we went to my cousin's house, and, it was April Fool's Day, and they told me that he had got shot, and I didn't believe him. I thought it was a joke.
Oh no, that's the worst kind of news. And on April Fool's Day, you imagine getting home and it's like April Fool's Day. You know that everything that, if someone comes to you and says some serious shit, especially someone who likes to joke around with you a lot, and they say it to you like some serious shit on April Fool's Day, you're like, that's a good one. That's such a funny joke, man. Okay, whatever. And then they're like, no, Marvin Gaye died. Okay, yeah, sure, he died. Yeah, okay. No, he got shot. Okay, on April Fool's Day? That's crazy.
And, that night, that's when it started, really. And, I had them for about, these dreams for, a couple of years, to the point where I think I had to go see someone, to discuss them, why am I having these dreams? What do they mean? And, I think just coming to a realization of what my life turned out to be and everything, and learning about his life and what he went through as an artist, I don't know. I mean, I kind of take it as to mean to pay attention, to pay attention to what he went through, and I guess the, mistakes he made or whatever, so I don't make the same ones.
Michael formed a couple singing groups with his cousins and started performing around Richmond. The group that began gaining traction was named Michael Archer and Precise, and had a sort of David Ruffin and the Temptations vibe to it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm David Ruffin. These are the Temptations.
The band would go around Richmond performing and were starting to make a name for themselves when they caught the eye of a talent scout.
It's downloading now.
When at the Apollo, or that you performed at the Apollo?
Yeah.
How old were you when you did that? Oh wow! So what was that like? When you got on that stage, at the Apollo, and performed?
It was amazing, man. That was a dream come true, and didn't win. I mean, that was, and I've been doing talent shows all up to that point. So to get to that point, to do that talent show, I was like, it was a great film.
The talent scout hooked them up with the opportunity to perform at amateur night at the Apollo
always
Theater.
a talent
If you know the
scout.
Apollo, you know it's a place where dreams either break
You
or
gotta
take
be
off.
careful with those,
Drew
'cause
Hill won
anybody
it.
can
Lauryn
approach
Hill
you and
took
say
the
they're a
stage
talent
and got
scout.
booed. It's a place that shows no mercy. Michael Archer and Precise had never been out of Richmond, and thus coming to New York was like a dream come true. He stepped on stage and the crowd started booing immediately. But he kept going, singing Peabo Bryson's Field of Fire.
Bebo?
The group lost that
Who
night,
gave him that name?
but they came back, this time singing Johnny Gill's Rub You the Right Way, and won the whole thing. And Michael used the money they made from their winnings to purchase a keyboard
okay.
and 4-track recorder. The group
Whatever your parents used to say back in the day, whatever parents are like, oh, your music's too sexual today. Rub you in the right way? Excuse me? What is that supposed to mean? And that was the music back then. And that's the title. And also, like, any music that Teddy Pendergrass used to write, like, they may have not been as bold and straight to the point as people like Sexy Red. They may have not been as straight to the point as Sexy Red, but the songs back in the day, they still made their point. Like, okay, as a child, I probably didn't always know what they were talking about, but when I got older and then I found out that Genuine's pony was not an actual My Little Pony, that was a weird experience.
Could have made it, but Michael had aspirations of being a solo artist. Shortly after winning at the Apollo, Michael dropped out of high school to pursue music full-time. He spent his time producing for a crew of young rappers named IDU, standing for Intelligent, Deadly, Unique. 1992 was smack dab in the golden era of hip-hop. That year on the West Coast, Dr. Dre dropped The Chronic. Down south, UGK was fresh on the scene with their debut album. And on the East Coast, Don't Sweat the Technique by Eric B. and Rakim was bumping through every car
Don't
speaker.
sweat the technique.
That year, IDU went up to New York without Michael, thinking that the producer didn't need to come with them to shop themselves for a deal. But when publishing executive Jocelyn Cooper heard their demo, she was immediately drawn to the production and the voice that was singing on their songs. She asked the other group members who produced their records, and they told her it was their friend back in Virginia. So Jocelyn asked to meet him. So Michael found himself on the way to New York with the rest of the guys. Once he entered Midnight Songs, the publishing company Jocelyn worked for, he played her a few of the records he had been working on. She was so impressed with the kid that she invited Gary Harris, who was a record man at EMI, to listen in. Michael, who started going by D'Angelo around this time, inspired by the artist Michelangelo, sat at the piano and played Marvin Gaye and Al Green cover songs for the both of them in Cooper's office.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. That's really cool. I didn't know that D'Angelo, his name, inspiration for his name came from Michelangelo. Deep. That's deep.
Harris remembered his demo, and
that's deep. How to live it.
That day by saying, "I thought he was dope. When I heard D'Angelo's demo, I thought it was a synthesis of Jodeci and A Tribe Called Quest." Not too long after that, Cooper signed D'Angelo to a solo publishing contract, and she immediately started shopping him around to different labels for a record deal. Clive Davis's son, Fred Davis, was Gary's boss, and once he played him the demo, Fred knew he was listening to something special. The thing about EMI, though, is that they didn't have many black artists. With a roster that included Debbie Gibson, Wilson Phillips, and Radiohead, black musicians would probably have more interest at companies like Universal or Def Jam. But EMI understood D'Angelo, and in 1993 he was signed to the label. And once he was signed, his persistent dreams about Marvin Gaye stopped.
Traveling, let me know if you could time travel to any place in the world. Where would you want to go?
After almost a year of being signed, he scored his first major placement. A song that was on his demo and written by him and his brother Luther was picked up for the Jason's Lyrics soundtrack. It was eventually turned into a compilation record that featured the likes of Usher, R. Kelly, Tevin Campbell, and a slew of other artists for the one-off group called Black Men United. The single made it to
that Jada Pinkett Smith had like a whole big acting career, just because of I see her today and
number 5 on the hip-hop and R&B charts. And D'Angelo had his first hit. The song also featured Raphael Saadiq, who was also working with Jocelyn Cooper. She introduced the two to each other, and they began working on music together. One of the songs Raphael played for D was something he had written 4 years earlier about a girl he met in Long Island. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We're still in 1994, and D'Angelo was gaining some traction in the industry. He produced the track Overjoyed for the Boys Choir of Harlem, as well as began writing for other groups.
Well, D'Angelo and I got connected by way of Jocelyn Cooper, who was signing us both as songwriters. When I was in the studio with Vertical Hole at the time, when D'Angelo came into the studio. But I have you to know that, and I'm gonna have everybody know because I want to set the record straight. He pursued me. I did not pursue him. I thought he was older than what he was because he had an old soul.
One of the groups he was working with was named Vertical Hold, which was a trio featuring another one of Jocelyn's artists, Angie Stone. The two began working with each other in '93, not just on Vertical Hold's music, but on D'Angelo's solo project as well, and eventually the two began a romantic just on Vertical artists, Angie Stone with was named Vertical Hold, which was a trio featuring another one of Jocelyn's artists, Angie Stone.
Angie Stone. Oh, isn't there a conspiracy theory with Angie Stone? Why is this all connecting, y'all? This is weird. Okay, Angie Stone. She also passed in 2025. She passed March 1st, 2025. Oh, No More Rain. No More Rain. I know that. There was something that happened with Angie Stone too, because she passed away suspiciously as well. Stone was killed in a car crash near Montgomery, Alabama on March 1st, 2025 at the age of 63. She and her band members were traveling in a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van to Atlanta. Stop it with these Atlanta connections. Leave us alone. Following a Mardi Gras concert in Mobile, Alabama. Oh, actually, guys, that's where the Mardi Gras parties, I think that's where they originally started. When it overturned, oh my God, her car overturned on the highway on the Interstate 65. The stationary vehicle was then hit. The stationary vehicle was then hit by a Freightliner Cascadia semi-trailer truck. Damn. By one of these? While the passengers were trying to exit. They were trying to exit their stationary vehicle and then they got hit. Oh no. While the passengers are... Yes. No, yes. That's what it is. The stationary vehicle was then hit by the semi-trailer truck while the passengers are trying to exit. And she was the only fatality. This is me. This is my face while I'm connecting the dots because it's just weird. His connection for being inspired by Prince, who also struggled within the music industry, who's also a legend, and Michael Jackson, who was also an inspiration for D'Angelo. And Michael Jackson also had his own struggles within the music industry. Angie Stone, if I'm not mistaken, she did try to come out and reveal something about the music industry. And then this happened. Final year, Stone changed labels again from 2019 album Full Circle. It all just sounds a little too fishy. The
two began working with each other in '93, not just on Vertical Hold's music, but on D'Angelo's solo project as well, and eventually the two began a romantic relationship. Angie was 31 years old at the time. D'Angelo was 19.
Pretty interesting stuff.
So, what was it like putting your first LP together?
Oh my God!
It was a lot of hard work. I had to do a lot of interruptions, but I stuck with it and got it out there.
So, who were some of the other people you worked with?
I worked with Ali Shaheed Muhammad.
Okay. Here's another fun fact for you guys, because I know way too much about T and Tamara. I was watching their reality show this past summer. But did you guys know Tia and Tamara are not really that close in real life? Like, they say that they're polar opposites. Tia is more like the Tamara in the TV version of Tia and Tamara of Sister. And then Tamara is more like Tia in the TV show version of Sister.
Tribe, me and him did Brown Sugar together, and Raphael Sadiq from Tony, me and him did Lay together. So.
Oh, Carl, well, speaking of Brown Sugar, you really honored African-American women with that song.
Yeah, that's right. Brown Sugar, it's for black women, you know what I'm saying? For anything else that gets you high, really.
Jocelyn introduced him to a bevy of collaborators like Angie, Raphael, and Ali Shaheed Muhammad, who Raphael would later link up with for the group Lucy Pearl, along with former En Vogue member Dawn Robinson.
Even Brown Sugar was a complete accident. We were working on something completely different that D and I had picked out, and I've been a Mac user for
Sleepyhead
24 years.
Welcome.
And my
Welcome
Mac,
to
I was
the
having I've never touched the PC.
Out here,
heard stories about the bugs, but I was having issues in the studio, and
on D'Angelo,
stuff wasn't working, and D started playing his one bass line. I was like,
but man,
what is that? Like, I don't know. I'm just waiting for you to finish.
His history is really connecting.
And in 15 minutes the song was done because I just dead it whatever was going on and got to this. So Lucy Pearl, again, just being open to the conversation, to the experience. And Raphael's like a big brother to me. And actually, that wasn't supposed to be Dawn Robinson. That was supposed to be D'Angelo.
One day, while D'Angelo and Ali were in the studio, Ali was inspired by some chords D was playing, and he programmed the beat for the song Brown Sugar in 15 minutes. The two instantly knew they had a hit.
Oh my God. Sorry, I hit my full desk. Yeah, Billy Idol concert would be amazing.
And her name was Brown Sugar. See, we've been making love constantly. That's why my eyes always say, blood burn the beat.
Yeah, alright.
After months of creating in the studio, D finally felt that the album was ready. But when he went to turn it in to EMI, the label execs didn't like it, because nothing sounded like it at the time. The year was 1995, and Bad Boy was ruling radio. R&B acts like Soul for Real were new on the scene, and Boys to Men and Jodeci were still the top hitmakers. Brown Sugar was released in July. The album debuted at number 6 on the R&B charts and sold 300,000 copies in the first 2 months. The title track, which was the lead...
about his song, How Does It... But I forgot. Brown Sugar... Brown Sugar. That was a good song too.
Single was released a month before the album and peaked at number 5 on the R&B charts. The follow-up single, Cruisin', was
also Brown Sugar is like very good.
Was a cover of the Smokey Robinson Motown track and also made it to the top 10 on the R&B charts. The album was received well critically and received 4.5 stars on AllMusic. Rolling Stone magazine praised it by saying, "He's shattering the conventional definition of black music. It doesn't have to be a lackluster genre in which format, not content, determines heavy rotation." Brown Sugar is a reminder of where R&B has been, and if the genre is to resurrect its creative relevance like a phoenix rising from the ashes, where it needs to go. There were many artists doing their thing at the time. For example, Tribe Called Quest and Mint Condition had been doing some really cool stuff sonically. However, the public had never heard something quite like D'Angelo, and Kadar Massenberg, his manager, created a term to define his music, neo-soul.
That man's teeth was really white. Did you see how white his teeth were? I'm actually going back to the dentist again this week, guys. It was like my last stream. I had gone to the dentist earlier in the day, and then I got on stream and I started eating candy. Actually, I still have the wrapper right here on my desk, the candy wrapper. That's the caramel apple. You can get these at your local Kroger. They are by Tootsie. Okay, those teeth. Yeah. I'm almost there. I gotta get some alignment with my teeth. But look at his teeth. Whoa. Now, he wore braces as a child for sure.
His manager, created a term to define his music. Neo-soul.
I don't get
the term would later be described to define the music of artists like Maxwell, Lauryn Hill, and even Jaguar Wright when she was still singing.
Wait, Jaguar Wright? Jaguar Wright? The woman who exposed Diddy and Jay-Z? Wait, let me rewind that back. Why is this all connected? My brain. My God, everything is...
Term to define his music, neo-soul. The term would later be described to define the music of artists like Maxwell, Lauryn Hill, and even Jaguar Wright when she was still singing. Some artists didn't appreciate the term, though. Raphael hated it. He told Billboard, "Neo-soul is disrespectful for me because you're calling something new soul.
Ooh,
when did it stop? It never stopped.
Is
you
that
either have soul
that you
or
think
you
I'll
don't."
be able to survive
Well, whatever
in?
you call it, D'Angelo's music was a hit. By 1996, the album was platinum. He started to grow a fan base and became popular, especially with the ladies.
I've never played
he was still
it before.
involved with Angie, but there was some trouble in Paradise. Angie recalled to GQ an incident that happened at an Armani fashion show in 1996. D'Angelo was set to perform and they were going to enter together, but once they got close to the venue, they were stopped and he was requested to get into another car to be escorted by Vivica Fox. And Angie's ego was obviously bruised by this.
What is that? Why do they say that? Escorted? So you're telling me that D'Angelo couldn't even get in the car with his own girlfriend because he had to be escorted by Vivica Fox? That's a little strange.
And they were going to enter together, but once they got close to the venue, they were stopped and he was requested to get into another car to be escorted by Vivica Fox.
That's very strange. Why would they tell him, "Yo, D'Angelo, we're gonna let you go, but you can't go with your girlfriend"? Oh, okay, yeah, we can just walk in separately. Yeah, that's cool. I can go in by myself. You gotta walk in with Vivica A. Fox. Why? And why did he use the word escort? I don't like that. And I'm not sure if that was intentional or if there actually is some reason behind it. Very strange.
And Angie's ego was obviously bruised by this.
Obviously.
She told GQ, "It was a Hollywood moment. They wanted a trophy girl. I had to walk in behind them to flashing cameras. It started the wheels turning of what was yet to come."
We were together for quite a while, and by the time we fell in love with each other, it wasn't anybody's business because nobody was checking for him.
There wasn't no blogs and all that stuff?
No, it wasn't all that stuff going on. By that time, we were head over heels in love. You're like, what you gonna do? So, you can't just start picking and plucking people apart because, somebody gets a hit record. Because I think 10, 15 years prior to that, Funk You Up had dropped. I was already there. I was with Vertical Hole. I was already in the game as a celebrity. So by the time you were discovered,
938.
I was there already.
Right.
And so I was more of an asset.
See you, sleepyhead. Thanks for coming.
You know, the way they try to make it look.
Following the release of Brown Sugar, D'Angelo embarked on a 2-year-long promotional tour. And although his label hoped he'd be able to release a quick follow-up to the album, he was suffering from a severe case of writer's block. He released a couple covers, including the Motown duet Your Precious Love with Erykah Badu. He also recorded his favorite Prince B-side, She's Always in My Hair, for the Scream 2 soundtrack.
She's Always in My Hair is the song.
Yeah.
And it's funk.
This lady too? Y'all, I know way too much about what's going on within this music industry now. Ever since all of this stuff started coming out with Diddy and Jay-Z, and then the conspiracy theories with Aaliyah, this conspiracy theories with Beyonce, Clive Davis, and how Clive Davis still had a party going, a Grammys party going downstairs in the same building of Whitney Houston's deceased body, and the man was alerted that, hey, we just found Whitney Houston deceased in the bathtub. We think you guys should cancel the party. And he was like, actually, this party's going. And now this lady right here, she used to host shows on MTV or something. She recently passed away. What the fuck is going on? She had cancer too. And she was coming out and revealing a lot of what was going on within the music industry and how she was pretty much blackballed. She passed away because she didn't trust the chemotherapy and decided to use alternative medicine. She was also another whistleblower. Let me see. From cancer, from car accidents. Like, this is her right here.
It's rock.
Oh, thank you.
How did you feel redoing? I know you grew up listening to Prince like me, so how'd you feel redoing his song?
I mean, well, just recently we did, I jammed with him. I got a chance to jam with him, like for the first time. We did he did a show at Jones Beach in Jersey, and we came back to a club in Tramps, and we did like a little jam session, and I told him that I was gonna do it. I was like, yo, I really want to do She's Always in My Hair over. So, you know, it feels like a blessing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It feels good to be able to do it, because he's such an idol of mine.
He also had an interesting interaction with one of the most famous pop stars of all time. In 1997, Madonna was moving into acting with the drama Evita having just hit theaters. She'd had her fair share of lovers, from Devante from Jodeci to Tupac, but she had her eye on D'Angelo. According to GQ, when Madonna was turning 39, she asked him to sing Happy Birthday at her party. In a gossip report about the party, sources say Madonna was spotted sitting on his lap and kissing him. Other reports say that after the party, D'Angelo refused her other advances.
You get your f***ing hands off me!
In 1998, D'Angelo was featured on Lauryn Hill's groundbreaking The Miseducation album. On the duet, Nothing Even Matters, but something mattered to him. A lot.
Thank you. I want to thank God, first and foremost, for everything he's blessed me with. It's a lot of people that helped me, you know what I'm saying, through this project. I want to thank Bob Powers, man, for all your help. Ali Shaheed Muhammad, you know what I'm saying, we did it, you know what I mean? Raphael Sadiq, I love all y'all. I want to thank all my peoples up top, man, for all.
This is her boyfriend. This is Madonna, and this is her boyfriend. No, she got a thing for black guys. Okay. How old is this young gentleman? Akeem Morris was born in Jamaica on May 2nd, 1996.
All your support, I love y'all, you know what I mean?
Around that time, Angie was pregnant with his first and her second child. Michael D'Angelo Archer II was born in 1998. Shortly after his birth, the parents broke up, but they would keep seeing each other on and off for the next few years. But when his son was born, D'Angelo's writer's block began to vanish, and he was able to pen the song Send It On as an ode to his son. Shortly after the birth of his junior, he released a live album using recordings from his previous promo tour entitled Live at the Jazz Cafe. In the interim after his debut album, D'Angelo linked up with drummer and producer Questlove. After initially blowing him off during the Brown Sugar sessions, Questlove really wanted to be a part of D's second project. The duo, along with producer Jay Dilla, formed a collective called the Soulquarians, which derived from Aquarius, which was all three of their zodiac sign, and Soul, which was obvious. The crew would later be joined by other artists like Erica and Common. The collective got started recording for D'Angelo's second album at Electric Lady Studios in New York, formerly owned by Jimi Hendrix, and where Stevie Wonder recorded Talking Book. The studio hadn't had much traffic in the 90s until Dee and the crew made it their home, and after hours of experimenting and hundreds of jam sessions, they created the album Voodoo.
Feel the magic of D'Angelo. Voodoo.
Isn't that a weird name for an
album? And by
the
time it was ready to be released, D'Angelo sculpted his outward appearance just as well as he conjured up the lyrics and production to the 13-track project. The once pudgy guy who felt more comfortable behind the piano traded his trench coat for tank tops. He bulked up, adding muscles to his 5'6" frame. He admitted to time he did 3 things while creating the album: lift weights, smoke weed.
Lift weights and smoke weed. How did I pause it on that? How she talks, by the way. She doesn't really bless you.
Make music. He also welcomed another child into the world in 1999.
He had kids?
The album would be dedicated to her and her older brother in the liner notes.
He had kids and he's still out here with his shirt off on the album covers?
I think for a little bit I was a little...
Aw, Harley, you were listening to his music today? That's really nice. I've been seeing that his music has had it's been
I basically didn't know
resuscitation? Is that the right word? Is that the right word I want? Resuscitation? His music has resurrected. Nah, that's a weird word because he did just,
you don't know what it's about.
He did just move on. His music has gotten popular once again. Here we go.
You know, once you rub heads with snakes and everything like that, you get jaded. So I kind of got jaded, and I had to return, or at least mentally return to why I wanted to do this in the first place. And that was because of my love for the music. And until I got to that place, I didn't want to really, I didn't feel a desire like I had before to just, get back into it.
Now, let me give you a glimpse of the landscape in 2000. The teen pop explosion was in full swing.
All right, y'all. I need to take out Marcy. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to keep the video playing.
Song by Cisco was a smash.
Why is the
Destiny's
contrast
Child
so
were independent
high,
women, and Nelly had country grammar.
If I miss
in other words,
anything,
nobody on the radio sounded like what D'Angelo
I might
was
rewind
cooking up.
Let me see. Where am I?
And that's what D'Angelo wanted. It was experimental, eclectic, and just damn good.
It's right at the end of this.
But it was a slow
I can
burn,
remember that.
charts respectively. But third time's a charm. The third single, Untitled, was the album's biggest hit and reached number 2 on the R&B charts. To promote Voodoo, D'Angelo's new manager Dominique Trenier wanted to take advantage of his newly chiseled image, and the video for the single did just that. The concept was simple but provocative. In the video, D'Angelo stands alone against a plain black background, shown from the hips up, as he lip syncs to his own falsetto. His bare chest and shoulders are shown, giving the impression he's nude. Even though on set he was wearing pajama bottoms, the minimalism is intense. There are no distractions, no background dancers, no props, just D'Angelo's voice and the palpable intimacy of the song. The New York Times called it the most controversial video to air in years. Stephen Hill, former exec at BET, said it stopped just north of the line where, we would have had issues.
Yes,
that's great. What are you looking forward to seeing?
Let's do that, Harley.
Tonight, yes.
I want to see D'Angelo perform.
Girl, I'm with you because he's fine.
He's fun. He's hot.
All right, back to you, Cisco.
Marcy. All right, back to you, Cisco. That's such a 2000s
The
clip.
video quickly became a sensation, particularly with women, catapulting D'Angelo to instant sex symbol status. But some had issues with it. The program director at Hot 97 at the time noted that they received an unusual number of calls from male listeners expressing discomfort with the video. It was as if the level of exposure and intimacy in the video disrupted unspoken boundaries, challenging perceptions of masculinity and vulnerability in ways that made some uncomfortable. Besides, as hip-hop and R&B fans, we were used to seeing women being objectified in videos, but to see a man do it on his own accord had never been done before. The video would be nominated for 4 VMAs, surprisingly winning none. With the help of the video, Voodoo was not only a critical success, but a commercial one as well. By the end of the year 2000, the album had sold over 1.3 million copies. And in 2001, the album won a Grammy for Best R&B Album.
There I was on BET.com checking out D'Angelo. Yo, I never thought the internet could be like this.
The album was followed by an international tour. Jay Dilla served as an opening act, while Anthony Hamilton sang background during the shows.
So what'd you learn from D'Angelo all those years? Just how to put together a band, real band, caliber of musicians.
Mommy's trying to stream.
You can't just fake play and get the job. You gotta really bring it.
But during the tour, he started seeing the repercussions of becoming a sex symbol. A member of the Soultronics, the band that accompanied D on tour, remembered, "We couldn't get through one song before women would start to scream for him to take off something." It wasn't about the music. This started to frustrate him, and he showed it outwardly. He used to break equipment, upset that his audience was now more focused on his appearance than his music. This caused some tour dates to be
That's like
canceled.
Sia.
He just couldn't handle it. Some concerts were even delayed.
Sia said the same thing. The lady who wears her hair over her face, and then she got the girl to dance for her from Dance Moms. She also said that she didn't want people to focus on her image and that she just really wanted them to listen to her music more. That it like really affected her.
So that he could work out and make sure he looked like the same guy he portrayed in the magazines. Questlove, who accompanied him on tour, remembered this period. "I mean, everyone's insecure, but he's insecure to the level where I felt as though I had to lose myself and play cheerleader. Some nights on tour, he'd look in the mirror and say, 'I don't look like the video.' It was totally in his mind. He'd literally hold the show up for half an hour just to do crunches. At least 3 weeks worth of dates were canceled for the tour, and when it was over, D was exhausted. But the label and those around him wanted more, and there were many plans in store for his career. The idea for a Soultronics album was being circled around, a live recording was a possibility, and of course D'Angelo's follow-up album to Voodoo. But while he was taking time off in Virginia, he was going through it.
By the way, do you guys see me scratching Marcy's butt right here? She's just like, she came and made herself comfortable. She's just down here like I'm scratching her butt. That's her favorite thing. She loves butt scratches, so.
He wanted to shake the image of D'Angelo from the video, and he started to party, drink, and indulge in cocaine. His grandmother and uncle passed away during this time. Not to mention, his friend Fred Jordan took his own life at the top of 2001, which shook him. Russ Elvato, his engineer and friend, stated, "He started getting really involved with alcohol, which led to other things. It was horrible to see him that way, but there was no talking to him.
Sia is.
I
She's
tried,
really
and
good.
then big stars like Eric Clapton were trying to talk to him. He was very hard to work with."
Sia's song, she has
As
a song
time went
with
on,
Labyrinth.
opportunities for the Soultronics
Labyrinth,
album.
that one dude who did the music for Euphoria on HBO. Got dog hair on my face. But Sia worked with Labyrinth, and the music that they did together, because they did like a EP together. Oh, it's good, man. It's good. It's good. Needed a music recommendation. Give me some music recommendations, guys. I need to listen to some music. I've been listening to Bad Bunny lately. I want to make sure I know all his songs because he has a lot of albums. Like, this dude's been making music since like 2015, probably longer. But the albums that I was seeing on Spotify, I mean, he dropped like 4 albums in 2020 alone. So I was listening to his 2022 album, and it's really good.
Other ventures started to fade away, and D'Angelo started slowly but surely working again on a solo project, and this album would be totally his. No writing from Raphael, no production from Questlove. He wanted to do what Prince did, make music totally independently. He was working slowly and steadily, but he wanted the album to be perfect. He would get to the studio, and if he didn't feel a creative spark, he would either just sit there or play video games while the label paid for the studio time. He would tell the label he was working hard and something would come soon, but it never did. So he kept working, and he kept drinking and drinking. He was arrested in 2002 for disorderly conduct, assault, and more after an incident where he allegedly cut off a woman in his car.
Cool shot.
It's alleged that he spit on her and fled the scene.
Oh my God, I love
When
that
cops
shot.
went to arrest him, they claimed that they had to pepper spray the star to subdue him.
There was a point where if you would have asked me about him, I would say, my God, I
Oh.
just go to bed every night.
Bad Bunny's latest
and pray
album's
I won't
really
get the phone
good.
call that he's either in jail or in danger or, God forbid, something worse.
Okay, I'm gonna listen to that.
And by
next.
2004, the label had enough. They removed funding for the album, and
I'll listen
D'Angelo
to
could
that
no
this
longer
weekend.
spend money on studio time with nothing to show for it.
Thank you for the
It
recommendation.
had been nearly 3 years since he had put out any solo music, and in the fast-paced industry, that was 3 years too long. And then, at the top of the next year, he was arrested on multiple charges, including driving
that's
under the influence.
unfortunate. When it comes to the music industry, it seems like the longer you wait in between albums, like especially today with how fast everything moves, like if you don't have an album out,
Possession of marijuana and cocaine, and disturbing the peace. While dealing with that, Clive Davis's J Records acquired his contract from
Clive Davis. We need to, you know what? We should do bingo card. And each time someone's name pops up, oh, Diddy, oh, Clive Davis, oh, Prince. Not Prince being like the bad guy or anything, because he was the one trying to fight against them. But we should do like a bingo card. And each time we hear their names, like Clive Davis, Diddy, connected to these weird situations, these weird situations where our favorite musicians, mysterious cancer suddenly appears, mysteriously gets run over by a car. I'm cooking, guys. I'm cooking. We're gonna do something here though, because that's wild.
Virgin in hopes to revive his now fledgling career in July. Clive Davis's J Records acquired cocaine and disturbing the peace. While dealing with that, Clive Davis's J Records acquired his contract from Virgin in hopes to revive his now fledgling career in July of 2005.
Contract, y'all.
But a few months later, D'Angelo was in his Hummer in Virginia when it crossed the roadway and struck a fence. He was ejected from the vehicle and spent several days in the hospital. He was allegedly under the influence at the time. A woman was with him and injured in the crash as well and was said to be driving since D'Angelo's license was suspended months before due to the DUI arrest. This accident came only a week after. According to Richmond Magazine, he was spotted leaving a courtroom after a judge had gave him a 3-year suspended jail sentence for the drug possession charge. Interestingly, Angie Stone alleges that letters went around the industry accusing her of introducing him to drugs and alcohol and blaming her for the demise of his career. She stated that she believed D'Angelo had no knowledge of the letters, but his label and handlers had something to do with it. 2005 things looked all bad for D'Angelo.
There shouldn't be this
He wasn't
many
talking to his
connections,
family.
right?
He was suffering from addiction.
I don't
He
know.
didn't look like himself. And not to mention, in May 2006, his home was set to go to auction.
D'Angelo, we started famous music that wasn't about
Marcy, come here.
overly synthesized or overly remixed. R&B music was kind of lost at that time. We come from the 80s where it was kind of Luther Vandross and Anita Baker, but there wasn't a lot of real earthy, real music. All of a sudden, there was D'Angelo.
Neo-soul hit its stride in the early 2000s. Jill Scott released her debut album. Raphael's new age trio Lucy Pearl had split and he released his first solo project, Instant Vintage. Erykah's Bag Lady went #1 on the R&B charts. Even Angie had finally gotten her solo break in '99. But years later, D'Angelo, the undisputed creator of the subgenre, was a shell of himself. It seemed like a pattern for some of the genre's titans.
Bad Bunny is
Maxwell
really good.
disappeared from the spotlight after releasing 3 successful albums to focus on his mental health. Lauryn Hill famously dropped out of the public eye after her smash debut and sort of final album. The pressure of fame being one of the reasons. It might have just been the nature of the genre. The music was just too good to microwave. And in a capitalistic society where labels treat artists like robots meant to create cash flow, soul music and celebrity didn't mix. D'Angelo had tried Rehab before the accident and it didn't work, but Jay Dilla's passing in 2006 served as a sort of wake-up call. He knew he needed to do something about his life. He called his old friend Gary Harris, and they made the trek to Antigua to get him help. Once he was admitted into the facility, he was in full-on recovery mode. He said about his time
really
there.
nice rehab.
It was like
All these celebrities, when they go to these rehabs, it just looks like a 5-star vacation.
once he was
Look at
admitted
that.
into
That's his rehab?
Gary Harris,
That's his
and they made the
rehab?
trek
Oh my god, that looks like the set of White Lotus on HBO. Oh my god, that's beautiful.
to Antigua to get him help. Once he was admitted into the facility, he was in full-on recovery mode. He said about his time there. It was like sobriety boot camp. They are up in your shit. After his time in rehab, he was back to himself. He felt better, looked better, and he could finally create. D'Angelo would feature on many artists' albums during this time, but no solo releases would come. But many of the people who heard what he was working on would tease it in the press, calling it a masterpiece and giving his fans something to hold on to while they waited.
I just have a quick question. Do you know what D'Angelo is up to?
He's working on his music still, and the music is, you gonna shit on yourself.
Yeah. do you know if he has any like imminent release plans?
I don't. I mean, I really don't. I'm waiting on it like you, because I think we need that. The world needs that voice.
For some reason, Questlove leaked one of his records, Really Love, on the radio.
The world did need that
This led to a rift in the two artists'
Well, I've
relationship
never seen
around
Questlove
2007.
with his hair
Really
braided.
Love on the radio.
That's what his full face looks like. He's a handsome fella. He's a handsome fella. I've never seen, like, you always see him with his afro. You never see him with just, like, his hair back like that. I wonder what he would look like if he shaved. He would probably look like a totally different person if he, like, hair braided, face shaved, like, and also maybe, like, do a little eyebrow maintenance there, you know? I bet he looked like a totally different person. You wouldn't even know that was Questlove.
This led to a rift in the two artists' relationship around 2007. He released a compilation album in 2008 called The Best So Far, with an accompanying DVD that showed unreleased clips. But he had another setback when in 2010 he was arrested and charged in New York for solicitation after allegedly offering an undercover female officer $40 for sexual intercourse.
$40?
Then in 2011, something shifted. After welcoming another son, and after almost a decade away from the public eye, D'Angelo announced a tour. The 11-date European tour spanned from London to Stockholm, where he performed both old and new material. This was the warm-up, as he was gearing up to perform for the first time in years in America at the Bonnaroo Music Festival with Questlove, who he had made up with after their falling out years prior. D'Angelo moved to RCA Records during that period, as J Records would shut its doors permanently due to a restructuring. But D'Angelo was finally ready. In December 2014, more than a decade removed from his previous work, he released his third album, Black Messiah. He originally wanted to release it later, but he was so moved by the Mike Brown and Eric Garner police-sanctioned killings that he moved up the release. The album was a surprise drop, in true D'Angelo fashion.
Ain't nobody talking about nothing. The music that's coming out now, everybody's talking about, you know, how many drugs.
Ain't nobody talking about nothing. I love that line.
He sold, how many bottles of champagne they popping.
And it's 1,000% true. Because ain't nobody talking about nothing.
The club, and ain't nobody talking about no real shit. So we as artists, I really feel like we got a responsibility. These kids, they paying attention to us. They looking at us.
Even with minimal promo, the album debuted at number 5 on the Billboard 200,
you if they're
and was
not
both
looking
a
at
critical
their
and commercial
their
success.
their-
It received 5 stars on
their
AllMusic.
iPad.
NME Magazine's review said the album repays a decade and a half's faith and patience.
Kids are always looking
Black
at their
Messiah
iPads
was
now.
one of the year's best projects, making the year-end
Need to
lists
get
across
outside.
the board. It also won
Go
a
touch
Grammy for
grass.
Best R&B Album.
After,
Oh, that's
I
what he
think
looked like.
shortly after I got signed,
Oh, he still looks handsome.
it just started to dawn on me that I had something to say.
He
and
still
that
looks like
Yahweh
he did back
put
in the
something in my
video.
heart to share with the world. And once you have that conviction, then the fear don't mean nothing. It's just a thing. But every time I've noticed that I've persevered through that fear, and you come out on the other side golden. So it's just something that you learn to trust.
He began to sporadically make appearances in public. When Prince suddenly passed away, he performed a tribute on The Tonight Show. He also featured on the Red Dead Redemption soundtrack in 2018.
He was on
after
Red
previously
Dead Redemption. Wait, he was on the Red Dead Redemption soundtrack. How the reclusive R&B ote? What's that word? This is how you know that I didn't go to a fancy college.
being a playtester for the video game. There was also a documentary released about his life, Devil's Pie, in 2019. Then came the pandemic, which led to Versus. If you don't know what Versus is, it was a phenomenon during the C-19 pandemic that affected the globe. Started by Timbaland and Swiss Beats, it was originally meant for artists to go head-to-head battling their records one by one. But when approached with the opportunity, to go head-to-head affected the globe. Started by Timbaland and Swiss Beats.
Oh, I forgot. Okay, so guys, this is actually a video idea that I've been thinking about. I have it literally not even half a script, not even an inch of a script, but I do have a title of a script where we go and we review and look back at some of the old, like, YouTube be glitching sometimes. It sure does. Versus from 2020, because that was something that I think we've moved on away. Like we moved on from it way too fast.
Beats. It was originally meant for artists to go head-to-head battling their records one by one. But when approached with the opportunity, D decided to flip the platform on its head. Instead of going back and forth battling other artists, he invited his friends for a public jam session.
And see how long it takes. But how long does D'Angelo predict before the next project will come out? And please don't tell me 14 years.
I will quote Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
How long? Not long.
There's not too many people I would call a genius. I frankly think it's an overused term.
I am Shakespeare in the flesh, Walt Disney.
However, D'Angelo is a once-in-a-lifetime talent. From his arrangements to his performance style, there's no one quite like him. And although he's stingy with releasing his records, there's a sort of novelty to hearing them. You know you're getting his all when something is released. And the best is yet to come. Hopefully.
Oh, and like I mentioned, guys, this video is 10 months old. So when they did, when they did this video, he was still alive. That's so unfortunate. That's so sad. Please make sure you guys go review this video. Go give it a thumbs up.